let's start with one other things here. And that is this idea that China somehow is managing to, for example, hide the fact that the property market is very weak. So some of the data related to the property market, it does seem that the government has stopped publishing that over the course of the last couple of years. Like, I really think this isn't relevant. This isn't important at all. The reason for saying that is because there's so much other data that says that the property market really has collapsed. And so to give you an example on that, we can look at these three different sources. So the People's Bank of China, the Central Bank of China, they publish a lot of data on lending to the real estate sector. So we get good data every month on mortgages, how much lending is going to households in order to buy property. We get quarterly data on how much the industry as a whole is lending to the real estate sector. There's different, we can look at interest rates in the People's Bank of China in terms of mortgage rates. Like, there's different stuff that comes out from that side. The second source of data is the National Bureau of Statistics in China. So the main statistical agency. They have a monthly release about what's happening with construction and property market related developments. Now, that is a very big data series, right? Like, it's not just one. There's lots of different data about properties under the amount of property being started, the amount of property under construction, the amount of property being finalized across different types of property, whether that be commercial, residential, or factories, and then different kinds of classes of property. So different sort of areas where it's being sold within the country. So there's a ton of data there. The third source that we have is private sector data. So there's a lot of data from, because these days, like over the course of the last, if you go back and think about 2005 or thereabouts, it was much more difficult to get this sort of data. But now there's weekly data on the amount of property being sold in China. There's monthly data from private sector providers about what's happening with property prices. Like, there's a ton of data out there. So some data sources, yes, some data series may have disappeared. But from my perspective, my bigger problem with looking at China is I'm always drowning in data. Like, there's tons of it around. The more difficult thing is making sense of that data and building a picture.